what I've learned is this is not just an entrepreneurial thing. Now that AJ and I have started Vaynermedia, we're working with a lot of large companies, the National Hockey League, Cadbury. We're talking to several big ones that we're going to announce in January. All three of them are Fortune 500 companies, $28 billion a year, $40 billion a year, crazy stuff. And you know what? They've got the same issue that you and I have. The companies that are doing well know who they are and know where they're going. And the ones that don't. No matter how much cash you throw at it, you're going to lose. And I'm sure a lot of you have been hearing my spiel. I'm completely now obsessed with consumer expectation. I'm obsessed with what Ocho Cinco is doing, how that's going to affect athletes in the future. I'm upset because I surely didn't grow up thinking that, Jerry Rice was going to hit me up on the phone. I didn't expect Madonna to come to my house and have tea with me, but guess what? Kanye or 50 Cent or Snoop or Lady Gaga, it's conceivable they may hit me up on Twitter. It's conceivable they may react to one of my Facebook posts. It's conceivable that they may email me. That expectation, based off what I saw, was the last big expectation to hit retail, which was free shipping. When I did free shipping in 1999 for WineLibrary.com, all heck broke loose. People lost their mind. People bought wine for the rest of their lives. There's people, people bought 60, 70 cases because it was just so different. There was no such thing before. This was a whole new thing. We all happily paid $2 a minute to AOL to get the internet. Happily. That thing, pumped. $500 a month? Awesome. Because what happens is we get very used to the new social standards. I know that if you guys go and travel up to New York to see me and you went to a hotel room, that if they had dial-up internet, you would crap your pants. You would call every person you know and go, can you believe this crap? This place sucks. Though 8 years ago, super common. What I know is that it was just a couple decades ago that you can go on a plane and the person sitting next to you was smoking a cigarette. I know that I remember going to stores like this and the cashier was smoking a cigarette. Or when I drove home, people threw McDonald's out the window because that's just what you did. Things change. I remember, and there's probably some people here, if they're truthful with themselves, when people said, I'm not getting a cell phone. I don't want people to hit me up anytime they want. And I definitely know that there's, how many people, let's be very honest, we're a tight group right now. Don't lie and don't half ask me. Full hand. How many people in this circle said the following thing? I'm never getting a Facebook account. Raise your hand.
Oh, yeah.
How many of those people now have a Facebook account? Raise your hand. Exactly. What I know is this. We underestimate social trends. I know that every person in this room right now does not give enough thought, because there's really no reason unless you're trying to buy $1 billion football team, enough thought to how much mobile is going to be in play. When's the last time somebody bought a desktop computer? A lot less common than it used to be. Why? Buy a laptop. Social shift. Changed furniture. Changed the way you could do things. Changed television. Because how many of you guys watch television with a laptop in front of you? Raise your hand. Raise them high. Guys, yeah. And when I see that, why do you think every time I do a guest spot on TV, I'm quick to drop the .com in the conversation? Because I know when I go home and I watch the stats, people type them in. These are things you have to understand. That's changed television. Well, the much bigger change is coming next, which is when this is everybody's thing. When this opens up and gets a little bit bigger. Tablet is coming next, so that's small enough. I'm not sure if I can fit that in my shirt or right here or whatever, but handheld and what mobile does. What happens when we have wireless everywhere, all the time? And how do those things impact our business? And so these are things I stay up at night and think about, and why they excite me is this. Here's why it's ultimately interesting and why it's important to everybody in this room. When those things happen, when culture shifts happen, big money gets put in play. And advertising, which is a $500 billion industry, is going through the biggest revolution in its history of its industry. And there's going to be a lot of money coming down, and that long tail you've heard about, that thing is much longer than you think. The fact that I know the 48th biggest voice around coffee is going to make $80,000 a year in 5 years, that's interesting to me. And I'm hungry and I'm passionate to spread this, because I think we all owe it to ourselves to build a business around what we love. It's just too easy now. Who I feel bad for are the people that tried to build businesses in the 60s and 70s when you needed $50,000 and you needed to quit your actual job and take a high risk to build a business. Now, work your job, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, pay your student loans, be practical. Just look at your downtime and work. Unless you're 100% happy. How many people in this room, and don't bull crap, are 100% happy with what they do for a living? Raise your hand. 100%. I would say maybe 15%, which is a nice number. Of those 15%, I'm looking around, I know a lot of them. They're all doing this thing, so they're all happy. I just think it's, I see numbers between 5 and 25% everywhere I go. We work a lot in America. A lot. This isn't Europe where we take August off. This isn't Spain where we take siestas and all that. I mean, we work a lot. I just, it hit me so hard a year ago when I started writing this book. I used to virtually cry every Sunday night because I hated school so much. Just did. I hated school. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to start a business when I was 7. And that's all I wanted to do. And I just remember the way I lived. I remember the way I felt Sunday night. And I remember the way I felt Friday afternoon, and I definitely remember when it snowed, and I think about that, and it hit me not too long ago. Oh my God, there's people who live like that for work. There's people who work for their weekends. There are people who work a crap load for their vacations, for a random snow day. That's tough. That's tough to me. And so the now part of my book is what's important. Because the internet, not Facebook, not Twitter, not Ustream, the internet has opened up a platform for us where we can build business and build a brand. And to me, that's an opportunity that we owe to ourselves to execute against. So that's what I wrote the book about. And I didn't want to talk so much. I'd rather do some Q&A.